Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Insurance Television Network. I'm Joe Battaglia. You know who this is, Trish, here to share with you some fantastic ideas. The idea is we look at, the whole conversation, let's say, right, Trish? We talk to people, right? Mm-hmm. And, what is it that goes on? You see, if you can really nail this conversation down, you know what it's all about? Content, tone, and delivery. And what do we call that? CTD?
CTD.
So content, tone, and delivery. What is this content, tone, delivery really all about? Well, you look at conversations, right? That's the conversation we're having. The content, right? What's the content? Well, let's say we're talking about Medicare, Trish. We're talking about final expense, right? So when you talk about Medicare, what is it that you're doing? Tell me, what's the conversation look like?
Well, the conversation looks like getting information, finding out how you can help these people.
Okay.
Doctors, hospitals, meds, a needs assessment. That's what the conversation looks like.
Now, when the conversation takes place, you're learning your fact-finding, right?
Yes.
Doctors, hospitals, and medicines. What's some other things you need to know?
What their needs are. Do they need transportation? Do they need dental? Do they travel? You have to find something that's going to work for them.
Right. What about, do you have to know what they have now?
Oh, absolutely. That's right off the bat.
So you need to know what they have, because just because you share a product with them, a plan with them, you need to know what they have. Because imagine if you start doing all this research, right? And you know where I'm going with this.
I know where you're going.
You look at all this research, you gather, and you say, oh, ABC company, that's the right choice. And you go to the person's house and you find out, what do they have?
ABC company.
ABC. Wow. Yeah. Now what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So we have to learn about their doctors, their hospitals, and medicines, and what they already have, right? And what they have, and what do you like about that plan? What don't you like about this plan? Think about your plan you have, Trish, or think about your plan you have. How can you make it better? Well, lower premiums, right?
Yes, absolutely.
What's another way? How can you make it
lower
better?
Prescription drug costs? That's
lower the cost.
huge.
That's good. Okay, right. What about giving you more benefits, like those travel benefits?
Absolutely.
Some have over-the-counter benefits, right? So you're gonna, in other words, what would you want if you were looking for a plan, right? That's all we're doing, right? So the content is asking about all these different things, right? Now you have tone, T. The tone. You see, you're having this conversation. Trish and I are talking today, right? Well, what's the tone of your voice, right? Remember one thing. I hope I'm not putting you asleep. I hope you're still listening to Trish and I, right, Trish?
I think we're very interesting.
I think so, right? You're very interesting. I am, and you are too, right? So the idea is it's our tone of our voice, right? The idea is we always practice something, and what is that, DDS?
Dead don't sell.
Remember that. Dead don't sell. If I was talking to you today and says, thank you, viewers, for listening today. I just want to talk to you about some Medicare programs and really how to take your conversation to another level. You'd probably fall asleep on me, right? That's the tone. How is your tone, right? And what we need to look at is, well, if you could examine a person, that first conversation you have, the first word, you have to understand what are they all about, right? You see, this content is really great, but the tone and delivery is what keeps the conversation going. And if that tone and delivery is off, it's not going to work. So let's take a look at tone, right? When you work with people, Trish, I don't think you're a quiet person by no means, right? No, you're more of an extrovert, right?
Never been called that.
Never been, right? You're a quiet person. Oh, no, I'm not.
No.
You're an extrovert person,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So when you're talking to an extroverted person, you have to be happy-go-lucky like them, but you have to control the situation because maybe sometimes they go off onto tangents, right? You might get a person like me that's very dominant, and if you don't cut to the chase right away, and if you don't give me everything right away, I'm going to forget about it. I'm going to hang up on you, right? So remember, there's those dominant people. Then there's those introverted people that are very quiet, right? So, if I spoke dominant to a quiet person, they're going to what? They're going to hang up on me. But what do you have to do to an introverted person, Trish? What do you think? How do you talk to them?
Well, you want to tone it down a little bit, and you want to get the information in a way that they're comfortable with. You want to ask them the right questions. I mean, you just can't deal with everybody in the same exact way.
That's true. So the dominant person, how do you talk to a dominant person like me? Like, what do you do?
Well, I immediately have to put my dominance to the side.
Right.
And I have to ask them, how can I help you? Is there anything about your plan that makes you unhappy? I let them stay in charge.
Right.
They think.
They think. You see what you're saying? Remember, we always speak about the art of salesmanship. And as long as I think that I'm in control, well, that's okay, right? But the idea is she's really in control. because she's understanding the type of person you are, that dominant person. You need to let them think they're in control. You got to speak their dominance, so you have to speak very assertive to them, right? You can't speak quiet because they're going to just railroad you. An introverted person, you can't talk loud because you need to make them feel not startled by your conversation, right? An extroverted person, well, you need to reel them in and control them because sometimes they go off on tangents. Have you ever spoken to somebody and right away they start talking about all these different things? I'm sure you have, right? We all do.
Yeah.
You got to control them, bring them back, right? So you got to guide them accordingly, right? And then those other people out there, see those compliant people, right? Those are the people that they dot their I's, cross their T's. Everything is very methodical. You got to show me in black and white what it's all about. Those are people that you really have to work at it, right? You have to show them charts and show them graphs and outline it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. But no matter what it is you see that tone is very, very important. The way you speak to a dominant person, to an introverted person, a compliant person, an extroverted, means the difference between somebody hanging up or not, right?
Absolutely.
Can you think from experience a particular person? I'm sure you speak to a lot of people every day. You're very successful at what you do. So are there times when you speak to somebody, like how does it register in your mind? Like in other words, as soon as they say a few words, you realize what they are?
Yes,
like, what do you
could
do?
Pretty much figure out what they are in the first maybe 10 words of the conversation. And if it's a dominant person, I right away shift gears to calling them Mr. So-and-so. I come across strong and competent, but I'm just careful the way I tread.
Gotcha. See, it's very important. Careful the way you tread through the waters because remember, your goal is to get that sale, right? So, unfortunately, I don't like to use the word it's a game, but it's like a game, right? You move this way, I move this way. You move this way, I move that way. That's all it is, right?
Exactly.
So, right, if you zig and zag the right way, well, you get to the sale, right? It's a shame you have all this knowledge, right? And you know the plans inside and out. But there's one thing stopping you from getting to the next point of actually writing an application. That's what? This whole tone, this whole conversation, right?
Exactly.
So that's why you got to practice with your conversations a lot to make it worthwhile. And I always say, call us, try it on us because I'm going to show you what to do to make you very successful, right? Now, here comes something very important. That delivery, the D for delivery. How do you deliver what you're offering, right? So, Trish, when you talk, do you stumble a lot? Do you use a lot of ums and oohs and ahs? Do you do that? What do you do?
No. Well, first of all, I know the product that I'm presenting.
Okay.
I don't call someone up and say, hey, good news, I found a plan for you and know nothing about the plan. Mm-hmm. So knowledge will help you be confident in your delivery. So you have to first be sure about what it is that they need. Be certain about what the plan you're suggesting offers, and just be clear, concise, and confident. This is what it is. It's fantastic. This is why it's going to benefit you. Yeah. And that's it.
Right. So imagine if you start talking to somebody and you have this dominant person on the line, right? And your whole delivery. Now, the dominant person, get to the point. And imagine if you find a dominant person on the line and you start to get a little nervous. And you're starting to pause. You know what's going to happen? They're hanging up on you, right?
They're hanging up on you because they think you're incompetent.
Right, and that's no good. Meanwhile, you are, but you got a little nervous. You see, that whole delivery has to be smooth. I want you to examine speakers when they're speaking on stage or speaking to you. What is the delivery? Would you agree, Trish, that when you pause sometimes, that's an indication of uncertainty, of nervousness, or perhaps maybe they're giving you something you don't need? Think about that. Because if they're pausing and they're hesitant, well, maybe something's not right. A confident person brings it to you right out because they know it's right for you. They're confident that it's right for you, and they're confident, like you said before, that you know the products. So you need to know the products, right? So this whole delivery has to be smooth. Once you pause or you add in an or no good. It's not going to work for you because anybody who realizes something, well, that's the end of it, right? You don't want that to happen. So when you look at CTD, content, tone, and delivery, examine what is it that you're bringing to people. Trish, you spoke and you said, I'm bringing Medicare to you. Whether it's final expense, learn the products, know the products inside and out. The tone, how do you speak to a person that's on the other end? Whether it's an audience, think about this now, Trish, right? And you've done seminars, right?
Yes, I have.
So when you do seminars, remember, you have to start to read the audience. The idea is you have to appeal. Now, what do you do when you have a multitude of personalities there? What do you do with that?
Well, you just have to take it. You don't want to come off too dominant.
Right.
You want to be a little entertaining, but no matter who you're talking to, you have to know what you're talking about, because there will be people in the audience who think they know everything,
Absolutely.
and they can't wait to tell you what they learned.
Yep.
So you really need to know, and it's okay sometimes not to know the answer.
Absolutely.
It's all in the delivery.
Yep.
I've said to people, "Wow, that's a great question. I don't want to give you misinformation. Let me just double check that for you in a confident way." If I come across I don't know, then they're not going to have any confidence in me.
Right. No, that's true. So, whether it's in front of an audience or a kitchen table, the whole delivery matters a lot, So, what we want to look at is, and again, we bring you all these topics to help you, right? Because your salesmanship is based, there's a lot of moving parts going on, right? But the idea is, once you understand the moving parts, once you understand there's a person there who wants to buy, because remember, we have a 99% closing ratio or 100% closing ratio.
100%.
100%, because we know before we go. Every topic that we discuss, and make sure you view the other podcasts, they're all designed to help you get better at what you do. The products are there. The products offer what they offer. But it's you that delivers this message. And if the message doesn't sound right, no matter how good the product is, what's going to happen, Trish?
No good.
No good. It's not going to work. So that's it. So practice what you learn each time. It works. It's definitely there for you. And I got to tell you something, Trish. Anything you want to share? Any last minute pointers?
Last minute pointer for delivery. When you show up at a prospect's home with the plan that you know that they're going to sign for because you've done everything right, don't be tearing the application out of a book.
Right, yeah,
show up with a folder. Show up ready. All you have to do is fill it out, have it signed. You need to look professional.
Right. So what you're saying sometimes is, think about this. You go to a appointment there, and you start, when it comes time to sign the people up, because you have a 100% closing ratio, you start tearing the application out, and it rips, and it looks fumbles. Have it all ready. Have that pulled out already and stick it in there. This way, everything is easy access. Everything is there for you, and it works better. That's a very good point to bring up. So I tell you what, folks, I'm out of it for what we discussed, content, tone, and delivery. Again, we want to keep them short and concise, the topics, but you could always give us a call. We're always here to help you. Trish, that was some great pointers you gave today. And I got to tell you something. I look forward to the next episode from the Insurance Television Network. I'm Joe. You're who?
I'm Trish.
And we're over. We'll see you soon, guys. Take care. Bye now.